Warning, spoilers are present in this podcast.
Third World Cinema Club.
Hello, welcome to Third World Cinema Club. I am John Tawasil, and I have the same number of Nobel Prizes as F. Chanel Jose.
Sino next?
Ikaw!
Hey, I'm Tristan of Rappler, and same as John, we have the same number of Nobel Peace Prizes as F. Chanel Jose, but I'm still closer by association to the Nobel Prize than him.
To the first.
To the first.
First degree of separation lang.
1 degree lang.
Hi, this is Princess Kinok, currently using Queen Kinok's Zoom. Same number of Nobel Peace prizes won by F. Chanel Jose, which is 0.
Kilala natin qualify pala na. I-quantify.
Dapat kailangan natin i-quantify yan. And next.
Hi, I am Jim of Jimelicula Kibaba. The attention is not on me now. Di na ako, Gawad Urian decorated. Char!
Gawad Urian winning creative consultant.
Yeah.
And finally, last but not the least.
Hello, ako po si DJ Ramones, isang ordinaryong netizen. At
So, kapatid, anong rereklamo mo, kapatid? Ba't ka napatawag sa
Ba't
hotline?
pa natatawag sa amin, ha?
yung nanalo kasi ng award dapat.
Minsan ka lang dumalaw, ano pa yun? May reklamo ka pa eh.
Opo. Actually, ngayon, very historic moment po na kompleto po kaming 5. Ayan. Sa Third World Cinema Club. Parang the inaugural 5 members of Third World Cinema Club. So we're here to talk about what have we watched recently. Yun lang. Ganun po yung buong episode. So kung interesado po kayo, ayan po. Nandito po kami. Mataas po ang kalibre namin. So yun nga po, a disclaimer namin, we have the same number of Nobel Prizes as F. Chanel Jose. So, very distinguished po yung mga kasama niyo ngayon.
Ang wala ako yung beret niya.
Oh, wala lang akong beret. By Fedora ako dyan sa gilid. Pero
may barong si John.
May barong ako. Nakabarong ako. Ayun po. So, ayun, Tristan, what have you watched recently?
Well, siguro in line with the theme of self-destructing, notable people self-destructing on mass media, I've been watching the latest season of Succession. So I was given some screeners to write about it. So, ayun, if you're fans of Succession, meron ba dito nanonood ng Succession? I love that show. So, basically Succession, siguro if I were to give a log line, it's parang siyang, how would I put it? It's basically a commentary on Trump's America, where the oligarchs are basically, paano ba? Sorry, sobrang hindi ako articulate kasi kakagising ko lang. But basically, you see the inner workings of the upper 1%. So parang what I find super fascinating about the show in general is like it's watching these mega powerful people self-destruct. Kasi the title, kaya sa Succession, it's basically a battle for who gets to replace their Rupert Murdoch-esque father as CEO. Alam mo yun, parang, yeah. Alam mo, it's like one of those shows na it's not really about the story per se. So in a way, I would like put it alongside Mad Men and The Sopranos, but it's really driven by the character drama, how they interact, and it wouldn't work as a movie kasi part of the endearment is really watching these characters interact across 8 or 9 episodes every season. So this season kasi sa Succession, sa season 3, I don't know if this is a spoiler, pero in season 2 kasi, the ending of season 2 is that the second eldest son, I finally goes against the father. So what I like about season 3, it's full on civil war. So kita mo yung machinations, how they plot against each other. And then I keep forgetting to mention this, pero the most fascinating part of the show, it's script. Para siyang ano eh, 2/3 black comedy, witty zingers, well written lines.
Mhm.
Tapos 1/3 introspective drama lang. So minsan I don't know how to qualify it. Is it under comedy or drama? Kasi it has that drama 1 hour long format, pero it's mostly ano talaga eh, black comedy, which would make sense kasi the showrunner behind it is Jesse Armstrong, the same guy behind Peep Show. Di ko alam if napanood niyo yun. Alam mo yung Peep Show na British
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
comedy. Ayun, so that's what I've been watching. Succession season 3. So I apologize if I'm not as articulate today, but I promise to write about it or even make a video about it. But yun, for fans of Succession, catch its latest season 2 weeks from now, sa October 17.
Saang platform nila makakatch it?
HBO. Sorry, hindi ko ba sabi? HBO. It's on HBO. It's one of HBO's premium shows. It won the Emmy last year. Oh,
Yeah.
ano siya? I think yung the eldest son, si Kendall Roy, the actor playing him, si Jeremy Strong, won yata Best Actor
That's
sa Emmys. Ano siya eh, like skyrocket siya into fame the show eh. Para siyang sobrang, nung season 1 niya, parang sleeper hit siya. And then season 2, it became the talk of the town na.
Okay.
So I would dare say na it's the best show on HBO right now, possibly on streaming right now.
Ayan. And okay, any may comments ba kayo dun sa napanood ni Tristan? Ako, I have personally not watched yet Succession, pero it looks very
Please
interesting.
do.
Ako I plan to kasi parang matagal na sa akin sinasuggest yan eh.
Oo. Di ko natin na-mention ano siya. Kasi the owner, yung parang sa multi mega billion corporation, it's parallel nga, di ba sabi ko kay Rupert Murdoch. So it's very Fox News. Kumbaga, what if the family running Fox News they're trying to usurp each other sa throne, ganun. So Game of Thrones without dragons.
In the no. So parang News Corp like company, no?
Oo. Syempre with the other assets of a conglomerate. So may mga theme park sila, kung ano, may cruise line sila, etc.
Ayun. So let's go on to the next show or thing that we'll be discussing. Ayun, Princess, ikaw naman. What did you watch recently?
Yes,
Shoot.
In the spirit of spirit of horror, I am talking about Shoot, the joke.
69 plus 1?
No, it's actually Mike Flanagan's latest series on Netflix, which is Midnight Mass. I actually, for me, surprise hit siya kasi, unlike Squid Game na talagang global siya, parang natabunan siya ng glory ng Squid Game eh. Pero it's definitely something.
Halos sabay sila eh. Halos sabay sila.
Actually.
People must, actually parang mas nauna pa nga siya eh. Parang if you hadn't mentioned the Tristan na, uy, maganda yung Midnight Mass. Pagko yung Midnight Mass, Pasko, ganyan. So anyways, ayun. Oo. So, ayun, typical of Mike Flanagan's horror na very thematic, na hindi siya jump scare based. Ang galing kasi parang very familiar siya, and true enough, matagal na pala niya tong project. So basically, what Midnight Mass is about a sleepy town called Crockett
Bay.
Crockett Bay. So a lot of the people there are very simple. They go to church every day, and then one day, a guy a sinner, basically, he arrives back home after being jailed for a crime he committed in the same city, in the same town. But it's ironic kasi while he committed a crime, he was praying.
Hindi, wala siya dun sa town, Sis.
Ay, wala ba siya sa town?
Di ba umalis siya, naging tech bro siya.
Yeah. So, ayun, when he went back home to his hometown, bali para siyang galing sa mainland, di ba, mainland town nila. Ayun, he is a sinner, so parang he's outcasted by his own hometown folk, except for his parents, but at the same time his parents are very religious, so it's the whole town is like their eye on him, but at the same time they also have their eyes on the town's parish priest, which is si Monsignor something. I forgot his name. Pero instead of Monsignor, who appears to have gone on a religious or missionary trip to the Holy Land, which is Jerusalem, comes back this younger, more appealing father by the name of Father Paul Hill, I think his name. Tas actually gusto ko siya agad kasi sabi ko, ay, si Hamish Linklater, which is one of my favorite, parang behind this, medyo tall, brooding comedian na hindi mo siya
That guy siya. He's a that guy.
Oo, that guy. Exactly. So yun. And then yun, yung usual na cast of characters ni Mike Flanagan, which is his wife, na si Kate Siegel nandun. Tapos si Slovan, yung redhead girl nandun siya, pero pinatanda siya ng konti. Tapos, when you watch Mike Flanagan's shows and films, parang lagi mong isipin na yung babaeng yun, parang sana bigyan siya ng break. Kasi sa Grey's Anatomy, gusto ko na siyang patayin. Alam mo? So, yun, ironically, dito sa Midnight Mass, she was given somewhat of a break in the form of yung typical na very, ang tawag doon? Domineering na Catholic woman na laging
Religious Karen siya.
Ayun, exactly. So, she's a religious Karen na parang ang hilig niya mag-quote ng Bible verse, ganyan. Now, I've seen a lot of horror films in the spirit of, October lately. Pero kaya ko to napili to talk about kasi una sa lahat, hindi ako Catholic. And, I grew up in that kind of small neighborhood na people are like, uy, hindi ka nagko-communion, ganyan. So, basically, my whole family was like, oh, bakit yung mama mo naka-turban? Ano ba siya? Muslim ba siya? Ganyan. When in fact, breast cancer kasi siya. So, I mean, she's bald, so she has to wear something on her head. So yun. So parang I fully related to it in a way na parang it reminded me of that childhood of mine na parang lahat ng tao, they have this, they have this prejudice amongst people who don't follow the same belief as theirs. And it's ironic kasi, the title itself, Midnight Mass, na parang they celebrate the Holy Communion, wherein people must follow the same footsteps that occurred during the night, of the first Holy Communion, which is they have to feast on bread and wine. Pero ito very, very ironic and very chilling in a way kasi yung interpretation nila ng Bible, interpretation nila ng Holy Scripture, talagang dito nag-back upon yung buong plot ng Midnight Mass na which I truly enjoyed kasi parang, as a, I don't know kung ano ko, pero as someone who's been around Catholics for my whole life and watching them try to figure out the Bible as if it's very literal or very, different interpretations. I mean, yun, dito sa Midnight Mass, parang, I think, I'm not sure kung naging controversial na siya somewhere, pero it's gonna be very controversial, especially dito sa Pilipinas.
Pwede bang mag-spoil tayo? Kasi, John, ang hirap guys, ang hirap dito i-describe
without saying
revealing
anything.
Without revealing the mystery para sobrang
Oo. So basically, ginawa nila
spoiler
literal.
ting.
Oo, actually hindi lang siya sa Catholic, I think, kasi naalala ko one time, sorry guys may nakaalaban ako na tawag dun, yung naglalakad-lakad sila everyday, tapos they talk about the Bible, ganyan.
Joggers.
Yung hindi.
Jehovah's Witness ba yan or more?
No, Mormons. Yan, Mormons. So may naka-diskusyonan kami before na Mormons. Kasi sa bahay namin, as in, meron kaming Bible, meron kaming Quran, may access kami sa Quran, and then, yun, yung mga ibang works na inano sa amin about our tribe, ganyan. So, I truly believe may isang line doon na parang sabi niya nung outcasted na isa pang character, which is a Muslim. Parang sabi niya, yung Bible maraming version yan kasi ilang beses na yan na-tarnish ng humans. Pero ang Quran, hindi mo pwedeng baguhin ang Quran. Kasi talagang isa yun sa command na hindi mo siya pwedeng baguhin. Wala siyang iba-ibang version. Ganyan. So yun. So, ang ginawa nung parish priest and ni putang inang Beverly, si religious Karen, niliteral nila yung Bible na tipong
Sabi mo na yung V-word, sis.
Oo, si Father pala, naging vampire. Kinagat siya ng angel of God. Na ang angel of God pala ay isang vampire.
Kamukha ni Nosferatu.
Oo, as in, kasi
Angel of
nabasa
God.
niyo yung, oo, kamukha, nung araw kasi paborito ko si Anne Rice. So, sabi ko, shit, si Memnock the Devil to, ganyan. Na yun nga, parang the devil kasi, yun diba, sabi rin sa Holy Scripture na it walks in different forms. Yun yung devil. So, parang ako, shit, ito na yung mga religious currents na, oh my God, the devil is here, the angel is here, ganyan-ganyan. Parang they forget na, Satan or the devil himself was once an angel. Diba? So, yun. Kaya siya maganda na parang, shit, for me, parang, hindi siya ganun tinatouch lagi ng horror na, the same thing that we talk about every day, which is, our faith, ganyan. Pwede siyang madungisan ng greed or, human desires. Kasi doon, may isang scene doon na parang si Father, sinisip-sip niya yung dugo nung isang guy na hindi mo akalain na pwede magbago, ganyan. Tapos parang ang dating niya sa akin, parang nire-rape ni Father yung lalaki. Alam mo yun, parang, shit, bakit ganun yung feeling? Parang na-overcome siya ng desire. So yun lang. Yun lang naman ang take ko sa Midnight Mass na it's very interesting and sobrang parang pinag-aralan siya in a way kung paano i-deliver na ang horror, hindi lang siya sa mga mumu, pero minsan, amongst ourselves, we become that horror.
Yeah, ang clever actually, kaya ako nirecommend sa'yo siya. Kasi like, ako, how I found it is, ang clever ng concept niya itself.
Oo,
like, the
grabe.
concept, like, how you connect religion to vampirism with all the blood. It's like, within that concept, within that conceit, it's like, how do we deliver a commentary that shows how easy it is for people to cherry pick passages of the Bible to support or to back up their stances or their beliefs. So even something as deplorable, something as sinister as vampirism, ay kaya mo talaga i-defend using passages of the Bible. So parang ang funny in a way that's also sobrang sharp na that concept palang ina-angkla niya yung buong series. So,
tsaka yun, for people who haven't seen Midnight Mass, you also should, I think, panoorin mo muna si Gerald's Game kasi doon parang tinatackle yung desire ng tao and at the same time yung
anong Gerald's Game? Yung between babies?
Hindi. Kasi ayun, tapos si Hush kasi, sakto kakapanood lang namin ni Queen before yung Midnight Mass. Tapos, binanggit doon ni Beverly, hindi pa siya Beverly. Uy, ang ganda itong book mo, ganyan. I especially like, the character of the father and yung character ni Buntis, ganyan. Parang ako, yun. Tapos bilang kami ni Queen, oh my God, ito yung book. Tapos si Beverly yung ganito, ganyan. So anyways, yun lang naman.
Ayun. Ayun,
Watch
no?
it on Netflix.
Watch it.
Gusto ko lang sana idagdag kasi I through osmosis na experience ko din ang Midnight Mass.
Ang vampirism?
Yeah, I know.
Grabe naman yun.
Through osmosis na experience mo.
Gusto ko rin sumisip ng dugo. Charot. Pero napanood ko in quotation marks ko din yung film because nanonood yung kasama ko dito sa bahay. And interesting nga yung I came across parang an interview with Mike Flanagan where he said that the vampire represents kumbaga yung nature of people to embrace parang mga fundamentalist aspects of yung kung ano mang dogmatic belief system nila and how dangerous that is, no? Kaya it spreads nga like para siyang infection na infection ng utak, kumbaga.
Yeah, yung napaka-clever nung metaphor na naka-implicit sa buong series. Kahit 7 episodes lang siya. Parang grabe. Alam mo yun pa din parang sa umpisang scene na nagpe-pray siya ng rosary. I mean, it works naman kasi we do, we have different ways of believing. In trusting our faith. Pero yung sa kanya, parang grabe talaga. Parang ako, grabe ka Beverly, tangina mo. Yun talaga kasi ang dami ko talaga na-experience na mga Karens na parang they quote me back the scripture. Tapos ako, meron akong gustong, hindi ko kasi kabisado yung scripture na yun, pero parang sabi ko, di ba, the devil can actually spit scripture back to you. Parang ganun. Ganun yung gusto kong sabihin. Tapos parang, balang
Dropping them bars. The devil dropping them bars.
Oo, ganun. Anyways.
Oh, anigma.
Tsaka yan, actually, pwede natin siyang i-relate sa Sunday ngayon. For example, ako parang I prevent myself from sticking to attending one mass na yung alam mo yun, parang isang person lang yung papakinggan mo kasi we tend to do that. Tapos we fanaticize na this person was given to us by God na ito siya, ganyan we should believe in. Pero that you soon to realize na teka, yung taong yun, tao lang din siya. What if he said the wrong things and you believe it, diba? Tapos, yun siya. yun
lang. Okay, so let's go to the next thing that we watched recently. Jim, ikaw, could you tell us a bit about what you watched recently?
Una sa lahat, thank you muna Kuya Roland for the watch party kasi napanood ko yung Money Boys. So,
Kala ko
Money
papasalamatan mo si John.
Salamat sa akin.
pagkakataon. Sa pagkakataon dito.
Gusto ko lang po sanang manawagan.
Joke lang. Sige, go.
Money Boys is about Faye. No, he's a male prostitute. They call themselves Money Boys in China, and alam naman natin that prostitution is illegal in China, ganon. And basically it's about Faye's journey on love and life. Ayun. So while watching it, nagigets ko na yung mga mixed reviews ng film kasi I thought at first na yung film magfo-focus siya dun sa male prostitution sa China. However, hindi siya ganon thoroughly discussed sa film kasi ano nangyari, mas nag-focus siya doon sa journey or unresolved past ni Faye. Kasi meron siyang former lover or ex-lover portrayed by Jaycelyn.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he come back to go ahead, John. Ano yun?
Saan to, Jim? Sa mainland China or sa Taiwan?
Ang gumawa kasi Taiwan and France, but then the setting is in mainland China siya.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Oh, yes. Okay.
Interesting talaga yung film. Kaya lang, yun din yung parang naging kami ni Kuya Roland, we're discussing it. Kasi bakit parang hindi na siya totally focus dun sa male prostitution kasi parang yung mga kasama ni Kaiko, yung the one who portrayed Faye, hindi na masyadong pinakita yung story or wala nang subplot or wala nang mga mga stories. Parang accessories na lang sila as a character. Pero parang kahit tanggalin mo na sila, okay lang, ganun. Kasi merong eksena doon na mayroong dalawang money boys na they have a relationship pero hindi masyadong hindi masyadong nabigyan ng justice yung both characters kasi mas nagtutok na siya dun sa journey ni Faye, ganon. Tapos meron dun parts sa film na he comes back home kasi yung prostitution or male prostitution sa lang siya sa city. Pero within the rural area or the provincial area, wala siyang ganon. And then, hindi siya accepted ng family because yun nga yung pinili niyang profession. Tapos meron pala doon na kababata siya na at first hindi ko magets yung motive na parang papansin sa kanya, ganon, na parang wanted to reconnect with him. Tapos pumunta doon sa place ni Faye sa city. Akala ko nung una ang motive niya lang is to follow Faye sa pagiging money boys. Yun pala, may gusto siya kay Faye. So ang nangyari, nagkaroon sila ng relationship. ng affair, ganyan. Kaso, itong si Faye, hindi pa siya maka-move on doon sa romance niya or yung ex-flame niya with his former lover played by Jaycelyn. Ayun. So, yun yung medyo ko lang dun sa film. Parang, okay, hindi pala talaga doon.
Jaycelyn Manabat. Si-
So, may ganon.
Tama ba? Or mali nga?
Hindi. So, may ganon. Pero ang nagustuhan ko naman dito with Money Boys, this is a dramatic turn for Kaiko. Kasi di ba si Kaiko, kilala natin siya in the rom-com You're the Apple of My Eye. Dito napaka-serious niya. Kita mo yung sadness or yung regret niya sa face niya. Ganun na parang mali yung decisions niya in life. Ganun. Yun yung mararamdaman mo kay Kaiko. Tapos, ano pa bang mga nagustuhan ko ditong part sa film? May part doon na parang ginaya na yung Millennium Mambo, yung openings ng Millennium Mambo. Pero doon na yung sa part ng finale na ambiguous din yung ending na pinag-uusapan namin ni Kuya Roland if sumama ba siya doon sa former lover niya kasi iniwan na siya nung kababata niya kasi hindi ba tanggap ng kababata niya na yung mamahalin dalawa, gano'n. Or wala siyang pinili, gano'n. Kasi ambiguous yung ending eh. Gusto ko yung soundtrack ng film kasi siya parang pumapap yung dating nung soundtrack ng film. And yung cinematography is excellent, technically speaking, gano'n. So far yun, overall okay naman yung film sa akin. Talagang lang siya very ito na yung dramatic turn for Kaiko. He gave an excellent performance as well as yung supporting niya na si Jaycelyn. Ayun, yun lang so far.
Ayun. So, okay, Jim, thank you. And then DJ, yan. Oh, long time no hear.
Maraming salamat po sa pagkakataon na marinig ang mga ordinaryong
mga ordinaryong mamamayan, di ba? So sige.
Ganda talaga ng intro ni DJ.
Sino po ang papaanuhin natin? Joke lang. What did you watch recently, DJ?
Ayun, bagong-bago yung napanood ko, bagong-bagong pelikula. Late Spring by Yasujiro Ozu. Kaya parang basic viewing siya for cinephiles. Parang pang film school curriculum yung
Hindi
napanood ko recently. And Late Spring, I guess from what I know, I mean the only other Ozu film I've watched is Tokyo Story. Pero from what I know, super simple lang naman lahat ng stories nila. For Late Spring, it's about a professor widower na medyo matanda na who lives with his daughter na nasa late 20s na niya but is still unmarried kasi ayaw niyang iwanan yung tatay niya. She loves him so much, she wants to care for him. Parang ayaw niyang iwanan siya even if everyone is pressuring her to marry na. So yun yung basic conflict naman ng story. Parang inuudyok siya nung tatay niya and nung tita niya na magpakasal na despite even if it means she'll have to leave her father. So dahil also to, I mean well analyzed naman na siya, marami nang nakuda tungkol sa kanya. Pero na-appreciate ko pa rin, for example, yung si Ozu kasi yung isang textbook example talaga ng every frame is a painting na filmmaker. So well composed lahat ng shots niya. And sa sobrang extensive use niya ng static cameras, nakakagulat kapag biglang gumagalaw yung camera sa mga eksena. So parang papaisip ka talaga, ba't gumagalaw ito? Ano kaya meaning nun? Pero even if it does not, ang daming striking shots talaga. Parang pwede kang kumuha ng random frame doon tapos print mo siya. Pwede mo nang pang disenyo sa bahay mo yung siguro yung isang ambag ko dito or more of what I've been thinking about since watching this film saka yung Tokyo Story Madalas kasi na-describe yung films niya. By the way, emotionally pala, parang ano to eh, parang slow brew yung effect niya eh. Parang normal life lang. Pero I guess common din kasi with many Japanese films na bigla na lang may mabigat na suntok pagpatapos na yun. Pero siya, Spring kasi meron siyang twist sa ending, unlike Tokyo Story na medyo mas mellow all throughout. Pero yung what I was gonna say is yung question na parang Ozu is always described as universally relatable yung family dramas niya. Pero I can't help but think na may particularities pa rin yun ng pagiging Japanese niya. Parang, I mean ako, as a Filipino watching a Japanese film, may dinadala na ako sa panonood ng mga pelikula ni Ozu na, Japanese kasi to. Kasi alam ko na ang society nila talagang very reserved and parang they have this cultural pressure to put society over their individual needs and wants. Tapos parang for me, parang yun yung nagbibigay ng extra punch, extra power dun sa emotional impact ng films niya. Yun.
Ayun, no? Yeah. Nakita ko nga yun eh, yung parang collectivist na parang attitude na you're going to serve the family unit more than the individual. That we don't really see that in Western stories, no? More in yung mga kagaya natin Japanese, may tipong may sense of filial obligation. And,
so parang parang KPL ni Daryl Yap.
Parang KPL ni
Daryl Yap. Family drama.
Ganon. Oo nga. Yun eh. And yeah, I really also like Tokyo Story. Is one of my favorite films from Ozu.
Pero ayun.
Yeah, sige, PG.
Yung Tokyo Story, di ba it's a remake of an American film? Pero parang bakit Tokyo Story yung is it just because of Ozu's technical superiority over kung sino man yung gumawa ng American original, or is it being transplanted to a Japanese context na nagbigay ng extra impact nung story na yun? Kasi it would be the same story eh.
Yeah.
Pero I guess kung American ka, parang normal lang yung conflict na yan. What do you think?
I guess din yung craftsmanship din ni Ozu in the way he tells his story and the way he adapts it for yung cultural context niya. I think yun yung nagpapa-elevate. That's what it makes it great rather than just good and just a remake of the original or yung inspiration behind the film. Ikaw. Depende na din. Pero yun. Ayun, DJ, anything more you'd like to say about Late Spring?
Yun lang naman. Pinalito si
Oo nga. I-announce ko nga after ito. So, yun. Yasujiro Ozu. I'd also recommend then from him, if you haven't seen it, his first color film, which is 1958's Equinox Flower. Yun. Maganda din yun. Anyway, nasa Criterion Collection yun, pero you can find it in the interwebs, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
So would you also recommend KPL as like a Filipino?
I haven't seen it yet, but why not? Diba? Go.
Right of KPL, Tristan, ha?
Ito yung dulot ng
Filipino.
Tristan.
Alam mo,
Filipino drama.
Eto guys, next week, kasi to our listeners, we're attempting to do this regularly. Kung wala na kami episode na, your usual episodes. Ang gawin nating assignment sa What Did You Watch Recently, manood tayo lahat ng isang Viva Max na pelikula, tapos pag-usapan natin next week. Isa lang.
Yeah. Pag may suggestions din kay mga listener, gano'n.
Yes, gano'n. Tapos puro shoot yung puro shoot.
What do you want us to watch? Gano'n.
Akin na yung shoot, Tristan, ha?
Sige. Sige, mag-isip ako if taya or para luman.
Sige.
Yung mga ganun.
Yan.
Sige,
Daryl
akin
Yap.
na lang yung paglaki ko, gusto ko maging porn star. Sige, akin na lang yun.
Sige.
Ano ba yan?
Hindi.
Based on
Further musings, gano'n.
Ayun. Pero, ayun, Viva Max. 150 lang isang buwan. Charot. Okay, so before we go to mine, ayan, meron tayong kakarating lang na membro. Ayan, our Phantom Sixth Man. Our sixth member. Also, with as many Nobel Prizes as F. Chanel Jose, Engelbert, zero. Engelbert Rafferty Dulay. Say hi. Say hi to us.
Hello. Oy, grabe yung Nobel Peace Prize. Zero. Charot.
Nobel Peace
Very appropriate.
Prize non-winner. Ganun talaga. Pero sige, Rafi, what did you watch recently?
Puro Japanese stuff yung pinapanood ko recently because the babe, no.
blurred ba?
Ayun.
Blurred. May blurred parts ba?
May blurred
Rafi?
parts ba?
Just to be
May
clear.
mosaic ba?
Wala.
Hindi natin pwede pag-usapan yan dito sa podcast.
Pero alam mo ba, eto Tristan ha, meron akong, may isang peculiar akong na-notice. Sige, bago ako punta sa iyo, Rafi. May peculiar ako na-notice while watching one of those kinds of films. Yung sinasabi ni Tristan.
A man of taste, I see. A man of taste, I see.
Well, kasi yung preamble niya, yung parang opening scene niya, there is this guy, there's this lady, they're both, magkasawa sila, and the woman is reading the newspaper, a newspaper. For some reason, yung newspaper is censored with the same kind of censorship that you see usually in those kinds of films. So natataka ako, bakit pati yung dyaryo sinensor nila? 'Di ba? I guess ganun ba silang ka-stricto sa copyright? I think Japanese talaga, they're very strict with copyright. Pero it just struck me as weird na in a kind of show na yung sinesensor mo ay mga, unmentionables, yung something as innocuous as reading a newspaper ay may mosaic din. Pero anyway.
Or is it innocuous?
Or is it? Yung pala, Toro pala yung binabasa.
Thanks, John, for what you watched recently.
Yun na pala yung what I watched recently.
Says a lot.
My hot coworker can stop seducing me. Ganon. Joke lang.
May meaning yun, parang the reproduction of information is
being censored.
is as powerful as other means
Panopticon.
of reproduction.
It's in our surveillance state.
The fifth estate must be Charot lang. Pero sige, Rafi, sorry to interrupt you. Please continue.
No, carry lang.
Yan, sige. What have you watched recently?
Again, puro Japanese stuff yung pinapanood ko recently. Wala naman blurred, I think. I wanted to talk about talaga yung It's a Summer Film. Pero...
Yun na lang. Gusto mo?
No, pero mas sobrang na-mess up ako ng Code Geass. So, I have been watching anime recently. As in, puro isekai.
A man of taste, I see.
A man of
culture.
Puro Tensura, Rising of the Shield
Hero. Parang papunta yung kay DJ John tsaka kay Rafi, very refined.
Thank you for calling my coworker seduced me, a very cultured film. My hot coworker seduced me. Charot.
Game.
Sorry, Rafi. Please continue.
Pero sobrang kasi, ewan ko, kasi I have a friend who recommended me to watch Code Geass. Okay? Medyo, kasi, I've never seen Code Geass ever. I've never seen nor watched a single episode nor any of the spin-offs. So, hindi kasi ako ganun ka-interested before sa mga anything mecha, like Gundam, Voltes 5. It only started recently, simula nung nag-Evangelion binge ako, like, mas na-appreciate ko siya. So, I figured, sige, try ko. Tapos, sorry. Papamura sana ako. Hindi, kasi sobrang ganda ng world building tsaka ng character development na ginawa ni Clamp, sa Code Geass. Sobrang, how I would say, intricate ng parang moral compasses nung main character. So, the story of Code Geass is about a world plunged into war between three superpower countries or superpower states, I would say. There's the Chinese Federation, there's Europea United, and then there's Britannia, or the Holy Britannian Empire. I believe Britannia has conquered half of Europe and then the Americas when Queen Elizabeth, in an alternate dimension, took over the United States. And then, of course, the Chinese Federation took over majority of Asia, and then Europea United more so on the remaining parts of Europe and Africa. So it's about this guy named Lelouch, who was sent or exiled from Britannia to, what do you call this, to Japan, to called Area 11, because every time that Britannia would take over a country, they would refer to their colonies as areas, and then they would be labeled as numbers depending on, like, if I remember correctly, depending on when or pang ilan na na-take over yung colony. So, for example, with Japan, labeled sila as Area 11. So, the people or the citizens of Japan, the Japanese people, they're referred to as 11s. So, si Lelouch, na-exile siya dun sa area na yon and happened to be one of the victims of this very problematic yet somehow philosophical war between the three colonies. And throughout the entire series, it's just about Lelouch trying to balance himself out in a very complicated scale between what's right from what's wrong. And sobrang nakakatuwa kasi lahat sila contradictory yung ideals. For example, si Lelouch, parang pinaglalaban niya na for war to end, more blood should be spilled, something like that. And then there's this other character who happens to be his best friend named Suzaku Kurarugi, who wants to, what do you call this, make sure that everyone is, or he gets his dreams realized without having to shed that much blood, without him realizing that he has already shed blood throughout the process of being a part of the empire, of the Britannian Empire. So throughout the entire series, every episode, parang there's always a nugget of information na mari-reveal. Like, it's been cooking up since episode 1, pero ang angas lang kasi lahat ng characters pinaglaan ng attention. Alam mo na every single bit ng storya, ng characters, ng entire setting, it's a labor of love. Tsaka nakakatuwa kasi, tawag dito, we're also in war in a way at the moment. We have a global scale crisis, and then there are a lot of political happenings going around the world. So I feel like it's very apt and it's very timely. And sobrang medyo na-mess up yung moral compass ko mismo as a person kasi ang daming philosophical statements and discussions na binibring up nung series about what do you call this, what it takes to be human, what's right from what's wrong, yung idea ng social Darwinism, which is survival of the fittest, the strong prevails over the weak. And ang angas kasi hindi alam lahat ng mga characters, hindi nila alam kung tama ba yung gagawin nila or hindi. They just do it just because they have like a set ideal in mind. Hindi ko pa tapos,
Yan, sige.
admittedly.
Tuloy mo na
Hindi ko pa-
lang. It gets very crazy near the end of season 2.
Pero ang gusto kong basahin kasi ang galing eh.
Sige lang. Anyway, I've also watched the series a long time ago. Bago ko pa, well, around the time siguro na binuo ko yung Crescent Confusion, no? Yeah, it's a fun show. It's a good show by Sunrise na parang upping the stakes every episode. Sometimes it's one of the in the early parang ages of meme culture, parang sobrang mini-meme tong show na to. From the title sequence to certain characters that I won't say kung sino kasi spoilers, to even the infamous yung if you notice, ewan ko lang kung tinanggal from subsequent versions of the series, there's a very ubiquitous parang product placement for Pizza Hut in this show.
Yes.
So yun. Yeah, it's really fun. To our listeners, if you want to, like, there are 3 compilation movies on Netflix, and there's a 4th movie na ayoko sabihin yung title kasi masaspoil kayo. Along with the original TV series. So these compilation movies and the 4th movie, they're part of if I'm not mistaken, a separate continuity. Similar but kind of different continuity from the original TV series. So
Yung fourth ba yung Resurrection?
Yes, the 4th one is.
Ah.
So, iba daw yung continuity niyon from the original. There are some slight changes then. From the movie version to
So
the...
parang the rebuild of Evangelion lang.
Para siyang ganun, yeah.
Parang ganon.
Pero
Different continuity.
Yes. So, if you wanna watch it, yan. Netflix, madali lang. So, just one click away. And yun lang. Enjoy the end of season 2, Rafi. Masaya yan.
Nasa part na ako na nanghingi ng tulong si Lelouch kay Suzaku because of Nanali kasi nga akala niya na-trap na si Charles Z. Britannia dun sa Sword of Acacia. Yun pala hindi. Like, so messed up. And ang galing ng transition from season 1 to season 2 kasi yung episode 1 ng season 2 at saka yung episode 2 ng season 2, it's very freaking reminiscent of the first 2 episodes of season 1.
Yes.
Kaya parang nagtaka ako, bakit buhay?
So may parallels talaga. Pero anyway,
galing.
Ayun. So, Code Geass, it's a very fun show. And we are now going to go to the last. Yung pinanood ko, no, unfortunately, it is not my hot coworker. It keeps on seducing me, pero kung mahanap niyo yun.
Anong code nun, John? Stars?
IPX na IPX. IPX 515. IPX 515. Idea packet ko yan. So anyway,
a man of taste.
A man of taste, you know. I'm doing the chef's kiss thing right now. I'm a man of taste. So, I'd really like to talk a bit about yung napanood ko recently. I've watched a few shows ngayon. Also a lot of Japanese stuff, a lot of Korean stuff, pero the one thing that of course stood out, and I'm sure a lot of you have watched already, malamang may episode na to sa end slate or whatever, but I'd still like to talk about it. It's called Squid Game. It's a, if I'm not mistaken, 9-episode series on Netflix. It's about this guy who is in very heavy debt, and he is not really forced, but he joins a death game that's based on these parang children's games na if you lose, you die, basically. And the prize is like 40 billion won, which is a huge amount of money and would solve all of his troubles. But of course, he has to kill or everyone around him has to die for that to happen. And it's just parang parang Cliff's Notes version lang ng my impressions. It's a very good show. It's not a perfect show. There are some parts that are badly acted, like around episode 7. Yeah,
In Americans, the American
the
part.
Americans. Parang yung sa ano, I'm so sorry to say, yung parang sa ano, yung sa General Luna, yung mga ibang foreigners to. Ay.
Si ano, di ba si ano yun? Si E. Rocha yun.
Si Ed Rocha yan eh. Sorry Ed Rocha. We love TBA. Charot. Pero yun, parang the acting is not as good as yung sa Koreans, but still, the games, the presentation, I also like the class commentary that's being done with the show. In terms of originality, well, it's not the most original show out there, but it's very, very fun. If you like this sort of show, my very highest recommendation is a manga anime series called Kaiji Ultimate Survivor. It's more parlor games, mga yung games na with your friends, pero again, it's either life or death or babaon ka ulit sa sobrang laking utang. Ganun din siya. And there's also class commentary also in Kaiji. And in terms of the class commentary, yung interesting sa Squid Game talaga is yung parang myth na if you work at the top, if you work hard enough, you can parang pwede kang umangat ng social status. Na Squid Game inadvertently or maybe advertently shows that this is an illusion created by the upper classes, and they do this for their own entertainment. Tsaka it also says a lot na yung tipong yung boredom between there's two different kinds of boredom, although they're very similar, between the lowest of the lowest classes and the highest of the highest classes. Na tipo, one of them are parang inuwi sa society because they don't have, nothing is meaningful to them. Yun namang sobrang kahog ng kahog sa isang sistema na hindi sila nabe-benefit. Parang life is meaningless in that way naman. Pero both of them parang experience the same kind of inuwi. And there are some people who yung gusto nila pabagsakin yon and fail. There are some people na they work through the system to uphold it. So, ang daming dimensions niya. And I like those yung parang, I think that's what resonated with a lot of people din. And
Yeah, agree.
Yung idea din na kung ako yung napunta sa game na to, anong gagawin ko? Parang, may parang ganung sense yung mga people who watch this, yung the people I know who watch this show. Parang if I did this game, feel ko matatalo ko, or if this other person did this game, parang baka manalo siya kasi gano'n pala siya. Ganun. Anyway, yun.
Yun.
Mapapa-question ka nung true nature ng tao. Pag
Ako,
sa ganitong game ka.
Ayun, Tristan, ano yung sasabihin?
Yeah. They actually said, diba, I did a video for this sa work. So we did a vid essay. Tapos sabi ko nga, like, I think what's most, kasi the genre has, it's well treaded ground na eh. This parang survival game we've seen in the Hunger Games, Alice in Borderland, As the Gods Will, etc. Pero what makes this a bit different is that there's this may option ka to join. It's like there's this semblance of free will. Kasi diba you opt into the game and then you can even leave the game, like as shown in the second episode. Pero kaya tuhog yung class commentary, it's because it's like if you're at the lower rungs of society, it's like, okay, this is my only chance for social mobility. Get so parang you grab this you risk your life not just to live, kasi like the other survival game genre entries, it's always about fighting to live. This one, it's fighting to rise to the top, fighting for a cash prize.
Yes.
So I think that just shows like how disparate, how grabe yung gap between the elite and the working class Kasi it's like, okay, as dictated by those on top, ito ang system. This is the only way for you to rise. It's via something that we constructed. It's via the game that we made. So I think that's also pointed commentary towards the real world, where minsan we, like us who are not in the 1%, we think na we have to play by the rules of the game set by the elites. Gets? Ganun yung parang
Yeah.
naiisip ko yun. Na parang, when in reality, this is not the only way. So, parang it ingrains in us this this idea na we have to emulate those on top, which is basically dog eat dog, ruthlessness, the complete and utter disregard for those lower than us to climb to the top. So kaya feel ko ang potent tong commentary in Squid Game na they were able to realize that through something so sinister. Well, in the real world naman, hindi naman rin ganun kalayo ang pagiging sinister. It's just a bit more nebulous, kumbaga.
Ang interesting nga na yung South Koreans, they make this very accessible art. Pero a lot of
So,
their art is very conscious about yun nga, class systems, for example, like yung Parasite. I mean, it's very, you can just take it as this very entertaining thriller, pero again, it's still masaya hindi naman masaya, pero it's very nice to see na yung parang may additional na laman pa siya aside from that. And it's not just limited to shows like Squid Game or Parasite lang. There are a lot of other shows that, show this kind of disparity in a way that a lot of other parang popular media from other countries cannot.
kaya, sorry, pero ang labo lang ng mga iba na, kasi I see people cherry na parang, okay, so the takeaway from Squid Game is that may influence ka. Parang for me, that's like a surface level reading. You have to take it, you have to go beyond that and see na it's really a critique on the system. Kasi if ang burden if ang burden pa rin is you shift it to the normal class, to the normal people, parang hindi mo na imbibe yung larger message o larger lessons of Squid Game na what it's really critiquing is the system writ large, a system na put into perpetual motion by the powers that be, di ba?
And yun nga, hopefully in the future, kung magka-season 2 man sila, they can continue addressing that kind of yung parang message lang from the start. Rafi, may gusto kang sabihin?
Yeah. Hindi ko pa napanood yung Squid Game, pero may naalala akong show or film na similar to that. Alam mo, Doc, yung 13 Game Sayong? Have you so it's like a Thai film. I think it was released when I was still in elementary school. Shucks. And it's about like this guy who suddenly joins into a game, and there are like 13 activities that he has to do, all for the sake of money. So it's about parang hindi siya random stuff pero parang all sorts of degrading sa self, all for the sake of winning, I think, 1 million baht. So parang ganun yung pag-position ninyo dun sa Squid Game. It's like, dito, naki-question, parang, is it really just for the sake of winning money? Parang, so, ibig sabihin ba na yung society at large is parang heavily reliant on that to survive, stuff like that. Parang ganun ko siya na-perceive. Kasi naalala ko yung main actor nung film na yon, parang he had to go through a lot, and then eventually, towards the end, parang wala rin. Like, for what reason? Parang he eventually died, and then wala na. Hindi rin niya nakuha. The money went to someone else. Ang ganon.
Kinda similar. Pero ito kasi
parang ganun.
magkakasama sila ng journey. So it's not just the main character. Parang dito, I don't know about you guys, pero parang may nakita ko dito, tatlong point of view siya eh. Parang may point of view ng patapon sa society, may point of view ng tinatry i-fight back yung system, that's sila, they try to fight back the system, pero may isa doon na parang, she was from North Korea, so she's like trying to avenge her family. Once she gets the money, she thinks she'll be able to redeem her family, whatever yung parang whatever society says na okay, mas safe dito, parang ganun. Tapos may isa naman na he's just doing it for himself talaga. So yun, ay, it's similar to that one that you described. Pero, alam ko, parang sa akin kasi, at one point naisip ko, para siyang Hunger Games minus the, the romantic angle, I guess. Pero ito kasi parang ang scary niya kasi, anybody could be in that, we're all in that kind of situation right now. Na, alam mo yun, parang yung kakilala mo pala, nakala mo very noble paglaki, hindi pala siya ganon. Or, this other person na dreaded yung circumstance niya na alien siya sa bansa, pero at the same time, he has to do this, ganyan. Tapos meron din yung angle ng game master na parang he's not doing it for fun. He's doing it because he's lonely and he's immoral. So, alam mo yun. Kaya siguro may appeal siyang ganon.
Yung circumstances din kasi sa pagka gano'n ni Gihon is also parang orchestrated, yung isa direct consequence nung elite. Kasi
Yeah.
'di ba siya, 'di ba factory worker siya.
Yun yung busted.
Oo. So nawalan siya ng trabaho, and then his friend was in this yung parang protest, nagwewelga sila to keep their jobs, napatay siya, and then that led to his downward spiral.
Gambling addiction.
May gambling addiction siya, which may be caused by his PTSD, and also he tried din naman to get into business ventures like yung chicken shop, but also this is a parallel to real life, no? Sobrang oversaturated ang chicken shops ngayon sa South Korea.
Yes.
So natipong yung initial investment nila, hindi na nila nababalik kasi they're all trying to squeeze into this little market. So yung his own situation is not necessarily his own fault. Parang he's trying naman pero there's parang the system is rigged against him in a way.
Yeah. Actually, John, good thing na you mentioned that kasi what I also saw na parang 'di ba there's a controversy right now na the subtitles, well, not really a controversy na parang hindi naman siya malicious, but it's like the subtitles, they remove the context.
Yes.
Na parang mas sharper sana yung criticism, pero they tried to make the subtitles more general. So example, yung character doon na anong pangalan ng other female character na medyo swindler. So parang there's a line there na she says, I'm smart. I'm sabi parang ang nobasa sa subtitles ay I'm not that smart but I make it work. Tapos parang actually ang sinabi niya pala in actual Korean is like, I'm smart but I was not given the opportunity to study. Parang ganyan. So alam mo parang it's very far, pero it just heightens the class criticism na okay, these bunch of people kasi 'di ba the parang ang disclaimer kagad sa kanila ay these people are deplorable. These are parang these are debt-ridden, mga criminal to, mga embezzlers, and then parang parang a Hail Mary to save them from this debt. Pero in reality, their situations are not entirely their fault, pero victims of the system, as exemplified by Gihon. So ang inaano ko nga doon na parang dichotomy is that if you look at Gihon and si Sang-woo, yung parang kababata niya, both of them, they're put in this situation, pero they're also like two sides of the same coin. It's like si Gihon, ito yung parang who never rose from poverty kasi the system was all against him. Ito naman si Sang-woo, he was able to rise from poverty, pero look at through what means, by becoming as ruthless, by becoming as manipulative as his oppressors, di ba? So it's like yung I forgot who said it's yung parang you cannot use the master's tool to dismantle the master's home.
Yes.
Kasi ayun it's basically be part of the system, embody the status quo, or ayun, nandun ka sa baba forever.
Yeah. Yun. And yun, actually, yun lang, no? I encourage everyone, if you haven't watched Squid Game, to give it a try. If you've already watched it, try watching it again in your free time. Kung just palipasin niyo siguro mga isang buwan para medyo makalimutan niyo yung stuff, para medyo fresh-ish. no? Pero try to look at, clues, or try to look at what's behind the games, kasi this show is more than just, patayan na bloody games, no? It's something, may dagdag siya, and that's what makes it a good show, I think, in my opinion. And of course, you're very free to watch all the other similar shows in the genre if this has interested you. If you're
Ano yung
interested,
other show, John? My coworker is...
asking.
Si Kaiji,
Ultimate Survivor. There's an anime and there's a live action version. I recommend the anime.
Ano sabi mo yung my coworker is seducing me? Yung ba yun?
Yung may code, yung may code. Anong code?
Ayan
Oh
na
my
naman si
God.
Tristan.
Teka pala, guys, before we end this, kasi yun, ako I mentioned Memlock the Devil, tapos si John, si Kaiji Ultimate Survivor. Like, do you guys have any references din na pwede natin i-share sa listeners na similar dun sa sinuggest natin? Parang naalala niya, itong kunwari, si Succession. Parang naalala ko si ganito. Like, just one, the first thing that comes up in your mind.
Sino mauna? Ako or what?
Si Tristan.
O
Kasi
Tristan?
ikaw meron ka na si Kaiji, tsaka yung my coworker is seducing me.
May
Ano ba mga
coworker
shows?
seducing me talaga.
Talagang pinupush niya yung my coworker.
Actually, ang title pala niya is, teka, mahaba yung title. Para siyang light novel
Niya.
Sige, habang hinahanap mo, ikaw Tristan, ano yung pwede nating parang side by
Ano ba
side?
mga social satire against the 1%? So siguro ang most recent is The White Lotus. I don't know if you guys watched that. It's another HBO show.
Mm-mm.
Siguro pwede rin ng Billions if you're into that. Kasi diba Billions, alam ko, it's like the more mass appeal show about rich people being terrible and trying to become more wealthy by stepping on each other. So baka yun ang closest parallels to what we have right now. Billions and The White Lotus. If in terms of quality, I would put it as like the successor, di ba? Fits Succession.
Wow.
As the successor of like di ba din The Sopranos, Mad Men, now Succession. Yung very character driven. It won't exist as a movie kasi you really have to get to know the characters and see how they bounce off one another.
Ikaw, DJ.
Well, na-mention ko naman si Late Spring ay prototypical also film siya. Pero it's representative of all, supposedly it's representative of all the films also made from that film onwards up to the end of his career. So another one is Tokyo Story. Late Spring and Tokyo Story are two parts of what's considered a loose trilogy. Yung tawag nila Noriko trilogy because it has the same actress, si Setsuko Hara, who plays three different characters but with the same name, Noriko, in three different films. Hindi ko na maalala kung ano yung other one film from that, but it's from around the same time.
Yun. Idagdag ko lang kay DJ. If you one contemporary filmmaker has remade Tokyo Story into a film. It's called Tokyo Family. Si Yoji Yamada to. Tapos he also made another film na that pays homage to Tokyo Story, and also in particular it's called What a Wonderful Family, and it's also a trilogy of films din. So watch out for those films then if you are interested.
On a local note din pala, yung Distance ni Percy and Alan, it's been compared to an Ozu film from Cinemalaya 2018.
Actually, yes, it's very
Yes.
it's very
Ano
pala, DJ?
Wala yung KBL. Wala yung KPL talaga.
Wala KPL.
Dun sa local counterpart ng family drama.
The other part of the Noriko trilogy is Early Summer. So yun yung una. And then Tokyo Story and then Late Spring. Yun.
Okay.
Sino
How
next?
about si Rafi sa Code?
Ano bang similar sa Code Geass?
Wala akong maisip.
Well, ang hirap, no? Pero
Ang hirap.
other Sunrise productions are available that are crazy din, that involve mecha pilots doing stuff. kunyari, we have Valvrave the Liberator. It's a very crazy show, pero it's not that good. Lalo na sa second season, medyo nag-drop off yung quality. Ano pa ba?
Siguro similar Pat Labor.
Pat
but
Labor, yeah. Pero yung geopolitical conflict yung inisip ko na very...
Ay, right.
Parang hirap
Malayo
mag-isip
Ang hirap
malayo bang itahi ang Evangelion sa kanya? Geopolitical conflict, more existential.
Mas
Guys,
this is more like para siyang may pagka Game of Thrones-ish siya na power struggle between family members. Kasi if there's something similar to Eva, I'd recommend like Darling in the Franxx, which is also available on Netflix. It's very basta it's very innuendo laced. Yun lang sasabihin ko. Basically the robots are piloted by two people, a boy and a girl, and then yung position nila is very suggestive, kumbaga. So tingnan niyo na lang. And yun, no? Ako na ba last? Ako na, no? Wala na kasi umalis na kasi si Jim.
So ano ito ang title nung my coworker?
Ito. Mahaba siya. My lover is waiting at home for me, but I ended up staying at my beautiful colleague's home after we missed the last train home. No panties, no bra. I toot her all night with my orgasmic toot.
Run-on sentence.
Yung parang light novel title, ang haba.
Hindi para siya search engine optimized.
Paano kayo tagagawa ng art card? No?
May
picture nila na.
may cardio or run-on sentences. Parang
Lakas that time I got reincarnated as a Ernesto.
That time I got reincarnated as a... Ayun lang. Squid Game yun nga. Kaiji, if you want games, yung games lang, you can watch Liar Game. That's also a fun show. There's also, if you want yung parang survival aspect ng children's games, there's As the Gods Will. Kung gusto niyo ng parang reality shows type series, there's one show called The Genius. It's a Korean television series na may 4 seasons. Ano siya? It's like mga talagang mga celebrities to, pero they play these parang linlangan games against each other. It's very fun. Pero yun.
And Alice in Borderland, I think Netflix has...
Alice in Borderland.
also.
It's a shame na last year it didn't... I mean, naging sikat siya, naging number 1 siya, pero hindi siya like... I don't know... Alam mo yun, parang hirap, how did Squid Game become this number 1 show around the world? Parang it's close to quality in all sa other shows rin ng Netflix na international. Like Alice in Borderland. Though, alam ko naman nagkaroon ng parang ripple effect na if pansinin mo yung Netflix top 10 right now, kasama rin ang Alice in Borderland.
Actually, top 9 yata siya ngayong araw na to.
Siya, nahatak siya ng itong Squid Game.
Ayun. So, yun lang guys. Until our next episode, you can expect us next week hopefully. We'll be trying to make more regular episodes as the months go on until the end of the year. And from all of us to all of you, we'll see you at the streaming service. Movies. We'll see you at the movies. And yun lang. Please watch
Dune.
Please watch Dune. Please watch Shoot. Please watch 69+1. Okay guys, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.